Hi everybody, Alex from IL here. Today I wanted to take you through a quick demo of how we use tasks, specifically the code-driven deterministic tasks that we create to control and manage API calls that we don't necessarily want an LLM to be involved in. This is something that we run into all the time. We're starting to build integrations. Maybe we want to go through and process Gmail, but we don't necessarily want to give an agent access to that connector, or it could go off the rails and do things that we don't expect or use tools that we don't want it to. We want it to be a more deterministic process. We have a little bit of control over that situation. And also we may just not even want to be burning a whole bunch of tokens, passing all of these back and forth to an LLM and potentially having those logged somewhere else. So one of the things we like to use tasks for is they're great at using code Python to orchestrate the flow, to go through and make the direct API calls to validate we have the information we want, and only pass the information that we care about into the LLM. So at that point, the prompts that we write are not aware of the surrounding context, the tasks that they're executing inside of, and they don't have direct access to any APIs or MCP connectors for Gmail, or for example. To do a quick demo, maybe I'll focus on GitHub here. So I have a demo here, and we've assigned a GitHub credential to the task already. So as a really basic example, what I could do is, let's just say one day, and what we're going to do is we'll do result equal il.integrations.github.list commits, for example. And we can do owner equals il of code. Let's do repo equals our API, for example. And the branch, let's just go to an SEO branch because there won't be too much there. And what we might do, typically as we're writing an agent, is once I have this, I might come in and make a quick prompt that is, summarize demo commit, for example. And I might say, you are receiving, it would be nice if I could type while I'm doing a video, you are receiving a GitHub commit. Please summarize for me. And obviously we'd usually be doing more for this. One of the things I use a tool like this for is to know when there are changes to certain parts of the application where we need to cascade an update to documentation or something like that. So what I'm going to do is go through and define that variable inside of the prompt. Now I can come back to my task and I might run, let's do the response from the AI prompt, for example, would be il.ai.run prompt. And the slug for that is that summarize demo commit that we did there. And the commit is going to be the result. I'm not going to bother with going through this pagination, for example. And what I'm trying to demonstrate to you here is this is a really easy way to start passing piece of information into an LLM when we want it to process, but to basically control the orchestration in code, right? Code is the runtime. These are just normal API calls. These are not hitting an LLM. We're not passing our information. We're not burning a whole lot of tokens along the way. And we can start to securely process through whatever API calls we'd like to make and just use the LLM where we need it. It's one of those understated things about moving your orchestration to an IL task where it's written in Python. You can take advantage of this very, very quickly. And just to restate, from a security perspective, from a token burn perspective, and even just determinism over your task, you're going to find this is far better before you even consider that usually these API calls are significantly faster than an LLM call. We don't need an agent orchestrating a basic task like this. We don't want it making decisions over what to call. Typically, we know what we want to call, and we need the LLM to action data to help us make decisions further downstream. So very fast demo. Hopefully this was helpful. We'll talk to you all soon.